This is what documented procedures do for you. It allows you to hire good people and get great performance out of them because you've got terrific procedures. Otherwise, without these great procedures, you have to hire these amazing purple unicorns who are hard to find and hard to manage, and it's hard to find the food that purple unicorns like to eat because they like to eat purple unicorn food. And it's hard to get that.
While RJon was away, Team RJon came to play. All the cat's out of the bag now, folks, but we're still here bringing you our favorite and most importantly, actionable insights to RJon's newest book, Profit First for Lawyers. We're going to help you accelerate your law firm's growth so that you can experience more profit in every aspect of your life. We're also going to be providing some behind-the-scenes footage at what it's really like to work with RJon Robbins. So, put your BS aside for the next few minutes and put yourself, your family, your firm, and your profit first. Welcome back to another episode of the Profit First for Lawyers podcast. I'm your host, Karli, and today we're continuing our 7-part series of The 7 Main Parts of Every Law Firm with Part 3, Production. If you haven't yet watched Parts 1 and 2 from this series, I highly recommend checking those out. Those will be linked in our show notes today. Make sure you watch those. Come back, watch this one. So today we're going to start off with a continuation of our story from last time, and then we'll play a clip from the official Profit First for Lawyers audiobook where RJon details production. What is it? How can I get it in alignment? And stick around for the end because we have another bonus clip from the cutting room floor that you're not going to want to miss. So for now, let's put the kettle on because it is tea time. Okay, when we last left our heroes, RJon had given up on attempting to read Chapter 5 as is, and he said, let's do this tomorrow. It is important to note here that part of RJon's writing process when he was making this book, when he was creating it, was talking it out on camera, and then he'd get the transcripts. The transcripts would be edited together, and then he'd edit those further. Personally, I think this was one of his best ideas because it gives the book a really conversational feel and it makes it a lot more fun to read. So if you haven't ordered your copy yet, make sure you visit profitfirstforlawyers.com and snag that. All right, where were we? So as we left the studio, we'd done the second attempt and it did not go well. So RJon asked me to go back to the original transcripts from his early recording sessions and to try to recraft Chapter 5 so it more closely resembled what he had originally said. So I stayed up that night. I was furiously listening to the old recordings and the transcripts. I was typing. I was lightly editing, just taking out the ums and the ahs. And I was putting something together that RJon could use for the following day so that we could try Chapter 5 one more time. One more time. Whoo, buddy. Spoiler alert, it also didn't work. Okay, but let's leave my former self here. We'll leave her with some hope, and we'll get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode. So here's RJon from the official audiobook version of Chapter 5, talking about Part 3 of the 7 main parts of every successful law firm. We're talking about production. Let's roll the clip.
The difference between the successful law firms and the unsuccessful law firms is the degree to which the owner of the law firm thinks this stuff through, gives it care and attention, documents processes, systems, procedures, invests in training people to manage these processes and run these systems for the business. When care and attention is given to the 7 main parts of the law firm, it becomes successful. When these 7 main parts are neglected, the law firm struggles. Documenting processes, documenting systems, documenting procedures, checklists, templates, examples, step-by-step written instructions using these things called words in plain English. This is how I want the job done. This is how you put this together. Here is an example of what a finished product should look like. This is why this matters. Look out for this. Look out for that. You went to law school. You can draft a contract. You can put together a coherent opening statement in a lawsuit. You can cross-examine witnesses. You can conduct depositions. You can answer interrogatories. You can write letters. I promise you, you have all of the skills you need to document processes and systems and procedures. If you have not done so already, please read or listen to The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. It spells this out in plain English. You'll understand it. You can do this, I promise. Marketing leads to sales. Sales leads to production. That production should be done in a systematic, organized, predictable, replicable way. And it gets done by people.
Systems, processes, procedures. Now, RJon's going to expound on how important this is in our clip from the cutting room floor. Now, remember, folks, if you have any questions about these topics or any others, send us an email at podcast@profitfirstforlawyers.com, and I'll ambush RJon again so he can answer those for you. And if you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, go back and watch episode 12, where RJon addresses your questions directly for the very first time since before times he didn't know this podcast existed. All right, so here's the scene from the cutting room floor, with RJon expounding on the third main part of every successful law firm, production. Let's roll the clip.
The third main part of every successful law firm is the production. That's the documented processes, systems, and procedures for how the work in the law firm gets done. This is E-Mythifying your book, per Michael Gerber. If you haven't read the E-Myth or listened to the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, I recommend you do. The point is, everything should get done in a systematic, organized, predictable, trackable, measurable, trainable way so you can hold people accountable for their performance. And if you've got documented processes and systems and procedures, then when someone screws up, you can be ruthless about the problem, but you don't have to be such an asshole to the person, right? You can go back and focus on, okay, when we hired you, we trained you on this documented procedure. Let's go back to the procedure. Was there a problem with the procedure we trained you on? In which case, we take 100% responsibility, fix the procedure, retrain you on the new improved procedure. Or maybe the firm outgrew the old procedure. Okay, no, the procedure is a good procedure. And we trained you on it thoroughly. And then we let you watch us follow the procedure so you could see how it works. And then we gave you the opportunity to earn our trust by letting us watch you follow the procedure. And then you follow the procedure correctly once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And then we set you free to do the job we hired you to do. And we tracked you according to objective key performance indicators to make sure you were actually continuing to follow the procedure. We did some spot checking from time to time. And lo and behold, we found out, for some reason, you decided to stop following the procedure. Let's bring you back for retraining and get you back on center. This is what documented procedures do for you. It allows you to hire good people and get great performance out of them because you've got terrific procedures. Otherwise, without these great procedures, you have to hire these amazing purple unicorns who are hard to find and hard to manage, and it's hard to find the food that purple unicorns like to eat because they like to eat purple unicorn food. And it's hard to get that. And this is exactly why small law firms fail to grow and they fail to scale, because no one takes the time, as I said earlier, they don't make it a priority to just think through and document the procedures for how the firm is supposed to work. It's so much more practical and so much more profitable and so much more fun. And you get to have so much more positive impact on the world for so many more clients when you can grow and scale a business with documented procedures. That's part 3, production.
I really thought this was such a kind way to approach being a manager. I'd never really heard about it in that method before, right? Where if you have drawn out systems, processes, procedures, then you're able to attack the behavior and not necessarily the employee. And no wonder that RJon is so well known for being able to coach people up so well. I just thought it was really interesting. All right, well, that's all we have for you today, folks. Be sure to check us out next week as we are joined in the studio once again by Tammy on Team RJon. You guys remember Tammy. She was on episode 2. We talked about reinventing yourself. I am really excited to see what other clips that she has chosen to share with us next time. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Profit First for Lawyers. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, tell a friend. And buy your copy of the book at profitfirstforlawyers.com. Your future self will thank you for it. And we will see you next time.